After this morning's guest, you're going to want to run for the phone to volunteer to walk for this year's American Heart Walk. You'll meet her coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 14th annual American Heart Walk to be held Saturday, October 15th at Broadway at the Beach. And we're visiting with Tammy Eaves, the Senior Area Director for the Waccamaw Division of the American Heart Association. Good morning, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in. Did I get it right? Is it the 14th annual American Heart Walk?
That's correct.
For the Waccamaw Division?
That's right.
Heart Walks have been around quite a while, but the 14th annual here in our area.
That's right. That's right. Actually, there were only a few before we had ours.
Really?
So we're one of the first to get started. Some of the larger metropolitan areas had walks, in California, New York, but we were one of the first in South Carolina to start our Heart Walk.
Is that right? Of course, for our viewers in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, I'm sure they have one up in the PD area.
Yes.
Has that been going on a good while?
Yes. In fact, the same number of years, 14 years. And the PD walk actually is held at Francis Marion College, but it actually encompasses Marion, Darlington, Florence, Marlboro, Chesterfield, Dillon counties.
A tremendous geographic area. And of course, this is principally folks from Horry and Georgetown County.
That's correct.
It'll be with you on Saturday, October 15th. It's getting close, Tammy.
Yes, it is. It is.
We're right at 2 months, at 2 months away. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel like we're a little behind. I think that our area, just because most of our folks are just so busy in the summertime, June, July, and August are, as you know, our busy time of year for all of our companies, and so it's difficult for them to really do things for nonprofit organizations during that time frame. We tried to get started back in the spring. We had meetings in March, April, May. Of course, folks think it's a little bit early at that time to get started.
Right.
And then when you contact them June, July, and August, some folks get started, but a lot of folks will tell you this is when we make our money. So come see us after Labor Day. So Labor Day is approaching, and we're hoping that the businesses that have held off will kick in gear soon after Labor Day, and then they'll only have maybe 5 weeks to actually fundraise and help us make this goal.
Can a walk still come off and raise $250,000 in just 5 weeks? I mean, obviously a lot's been done. You've locked up a number of sponsors. I think you're over almost to the $50,000 level on sponsors, but you've still got a heck of a lot of. There's still another $200,000 to be raised by walkers.
Right, that's true. Actually, about 30% of Heart Walk's income is raised from sponsorships. We do a little better than that here. Usually about 40% of our income comes from sponsors. And that's when corporations actually just basically stroke a check. And some of those companies also have Heart Walk teams, but there are some companies that just are sponsors. And of course, they get a lot of perks and benefits for being a sponsor. They get logos on the back of T-shirts and logos on thousands and thousands of pieces of promotional materials, as well as in advertising. So they get a lot of things for their sponsorship. But the employees that actually walk in walks, typically they don't start raising money until 6 to 8 weeks out.
Really? Great.
Really. Most of, it's like anything. People will say, yeah, I'll do that, and then they put it on their desk, and, mail comes in, other things come in, and people just kind of procrastinate. So the majority of all fundraising for all walks across the nation, the people raise the money somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks out. So even though I feel like we're behind, and we are a little bit behind, we still have lots of potential for making our goals. So
okay. What is the goal this year, Tammy? Am I correct on the number?
$250,000.
$250,000. That's tremendous.
Yes. And last year we raised $200,000.
Wow.
So $250 is a stretch. It's one that I feel that we can achieve. It's a little more difficult for us here than it is in some areas because we don't have large companies that have large employee bases that are raising lots of money. For example, Blue Cross Blue Shield in Columbia I'm not sure their exact number of employees, but they raised $108,000 last year.
As a team?
As a team.
You're kidding.
Right. And #1 team in the state of South Carolina. And, of course, we don't have teams, raising anything near that.
Sure.
Our largest team was Santee Cooper, raising $23,000 a couple years ago. Of course, last year they raised about $15,000. This year their goal is $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So they've had some changes at Santee Cooper, and it's not as large of a focus as we wish it would be. But when you lose, a team, when they go down from 23 to possibly just 5, that's a big loss.
Absolutely.
And then our other, we've only had one other team that's ever raised 23,000, or close to 23,000, which was Grand Strand Regional Medical Center.
Right.
Other than that, though, all of our teams are under $10,000.
Wow.
So it takes a lot of teams to raise $250,000 when the majority of your teams are under 10,000.
Now you've got some teams that are shooting for some pretty aggressive goals. The folks in the city of North Myrtle Beach, the Horry County, the government group must have some pretty big numbers.
Right. The city of North Myrtle Beach has actually already raised over $8,000.
Okay.
And they've turned that money in.
Great.
We have cardiology, gastroenterology associates who they do well every year. Last year they raised over $14,000. This year they're right at $6,000 already.
Great.
So it's early for them. We've got lots of different departments within the Horry County government that are striving for $15,000, and they've got enough employees, to achieve that.
Sure.
They haven't turned in money yet, so that's the other thing about a walk, as opposed to some of our other events. For example, the Heart Ball. People buy tickets, people sponsor, so you really know where you stand early on, and you're counting the dollars, and going into the event, the week of the event, if you made your goal. Pretty much, a week out, if you've made it or not, or if you have the potential to still make it. With the walk, you can go into the walk with having 50% of the money raised, and then hoping that you're going to get the rest. Within a 24, 48-hour period surrounding the walk. So it's nerve-wracking. I tell you, I lose a lot of sleep the week of a walk because you never know, especially if you have a team that comes in and they had set a goal at $10,000 and they turn in $1,500 and say, that's it. Then
you find out the day of, though, or a day before, or a couple days before. So,
right.
You lose that sleep just the last week.
Yes, just the last week. Yeah.
Of course, we want to highlight volunteer opportunities, any of the needs you may have over the next 8 weeks, as well as some of the ways that folks can kick off, if they haven't already kicked off, to begin finding ways to raise funds. But if a viewer wants to learn more about the Heart Walk, is there a good number to call? Anyone particular to want to talk to leading up to this, calling your office?
Sure, they can call our office, 843-626-3939.
Okay.
Teams can be formed from companies. That's our primary source, but they do not have to be formed from companies. We have got health clubs that have formed teams. We have Mended Hearts groups, which are survivors that have had heart problems. We have some stroke support groups that have formed groups.
Right.
We have a couple of retirement communities that have teams. So we're working to try to get churches. So it can be any group of people. It does not have to be, a team. So a team of actual employees. So if we've got some listeners that are Girl Scouts or in high school and they're involved in some kind of a club, or they just want to get their circle of friends that hang out on Friday night to come out and walk. That any group can be a team. You do not have to be employees.
Now, do you have packets of information put together for the volunteers or the team leaders? If a viewer says her bridge club wants to put together a team and really get out there and get active, you've got some info that she can begin distributing to friends or other members of the club.
Yes, and we have we will have 2 additional group type meetings. One will be August 23rd at Ripley's Aquarium.
Okay, great.
And we can have up to 200 people. So if anybody would like to attend that to learn more about how to form a team or to get materials to help them raise money, we'd love to have them come. Just call our office and let us know that they are coming.
RSVP.
And they can pick up all kinds of materials to help them learn more about raising money and how to form a team.
So August 23rd at
August
Ripley's.
23rd
What time
at
is that,
Ripley's.
Tammy? Do you know?
It's at 12 noon.
At 12 noon. Okay, August 23rd at noon at Ripley's. And they need to call the 626-3939
That's
to
correct.
get their names logged in. Okay, great.
And then we're going to have another one in September. It'll be mid-September, and we do not have all the plans finalized for that one yet. But if somebody can't make the one in August, they could go ahead and call us now and make sure we get them on the mailing list and invite them to the one in September.
And again, in mid-September, if they're not yet all together, I mean, by mid-September they've got a month to still do it. A lot of folks can raise a lot of money in a month.
Right.
To fight heart disease and stroke.
We actually have a little plan that we give to everybody. It's how to raise $100 in 5 days.
Great.
You know, so 5 days out, somebody could go out and raise $100.
Well, we've got 2 months, but what are some examples of ways that folks, just off the top of your head, can begin to think about ways to raise money, or if they're in that mindset of a crunch, or if they're not going to be in town October 15th, they're going to be out of town, let's say the 1st of September. If they just have 2 weeks, what are some good ways from now until the end of August that folks can begin raising money if they were going to be going out of town for September and October?
Well, first of all, ask the people that you do business with. For example, most people use the same dry cleaner, the same grocery store, the same drug store. So people that you are giving money to year-round, go to them and say, I'm raising money for the American Heart Association. I'm going to walk in the walk on this day. Would you support me by making a donation of $20? If you're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars with a business, they'll pretty much give you a $20 contribution.
Right.
And everybody's been affected by heart disease. It's the #1 killer, affects 50% of the population.
Right.
So there's not too many people that you're going to go up to that say, I have never heard of the American Heart Association. You're not going to have to sit there and explain what the Heart Association does.
Right.
It's just an easy charity to raise money for, and most people, will give you $20.
And those are all donations, tax deductible, everything. And of course, for a Heart Walk, they're really getting nothing in return.
That's correct.
So it is a flat out and out donation.
That's
Great
right.
opportunity to write a check or to make sure they keep copies of tax or cash receipts or otherwise.
And then we have these wristbands that are sort of like the Lance Armstrong wristband that says American Heart Association, Live and Learn. And these are $3 a piece.
Right.
And I'm sure you've seen teenagers and all types of people wearing several colors of these. They're just a hot seller right now, and we believe that it's going to really be an increase in our fundraising. We actually ordered 3,000 of them. We've distributed all 3,000 to teams.
Wow.
And we have a second order in for 3,000 additional bracelets.
You mean folks have given the impression they've already begun selling out of those ones you've given out? Wow.
And they are packaged in groups of 25.
Right.
And so we have people come in and get a package of 25 and call us 5 minutes after they return to the office and say, we sold all 25 of those. Can we get some more?
Yeah. $3 a pop.
$3
That's fantastic.
a piece.
A, you need to start raising prices.
That's right.
And B, that's great. Congratulations.
And we went with the $3 price because there are some other charities that were selling them for $5 that were struggling. So
Right.
we decided to go with the $3
yeah.
price, and really it creates awareness for the American Heart Association as well. We want people to wear them and people to say, why are you wearing that bracelet? Sort of like our red dress pins. And the red dress pins are to create awareness for heart disease through our Grow Red for Women campaign.
Absolutely.
So,
I've seen lots of men wearing your red dress pins, Tammy.
Yeah. In fact, I would have one on today, but it wouldn't
But
show
you're
up on my
wearing
red.
That's right. I see. I think you've worn one on there before. It looks like there's a little hole on there.
Yeah. So they came out about 2 years ago. A lot of our teams are still selling those. They're not selling as well as the wristbands, just
Sure.
simply because they've been around a couple of years,
Right,
and a lot
right.
of folks, so especially our Heart Walk teams, already have those.
Sure.
But those are $5 each, and of course it's a nice red dress pin. And
It's a great way to highlight the very high problems associated with cardiovascular disease in women.
That's right.
Which oftentimes is not recognized as much as other things, but causes much more problems for women than any other form of disease or cancer otherwise.
That's correct. So we've got all those ways that people can help us raise money, as well as there are teams that have golf tournaments.
Right.
They have lunches like chicken bog sales, fish fries. We've even had some that had hot dogs. Of course, they were fat-free and, you know, all the cholesterol.
Mark Crua, the Public Information Officer for the City of Myrtle Beach, has regularly been encouraging media to come out for a day in the very near future when city employees are going to be washing cars.
Right.
Tom Leith and others will be out there. I hope city council members will be out as well washing folks' cars. I can't remember exactly the date, but that's something they could call your office to find out.
That's right.
626-3939.
We are keeping a log of all of the wraparound activities that companies are doing.
Right.
So if someone should hear about, you know, a mini golf tournament here or a golf tournament there or a car wash, call our office and we'll be able to provide information regarding those things.
Anyone else who calls in, that's fantastic.
That's right. And you know, the car wash is a pretty simple thing. A lot of teenagers do car washes, but they can be very effective if you have a car wash at your office and you get all the vice presidents and the presidents, executive directors, and things of that nature to actually wash the cars. Then their employees are going to pay money to see their boss get out and wash their car.
Absolutely.
So it's a great way to raise money if you get the right people to do it.
That's a great idea, Tammy. Are there any volunteer needs over the next 8 weeks? Does your office have any needs? Are you aware of any big teams that may have some needs for volunteers? If so, what are some of the things volunteers could do if someone called your 626-3939 number?
Well, we really are short-handed. We have 2 employees, myself, and there's an administrative assistant in our office, and we have lots of Heart Walk packets that have to be put together. Each person that signs up for the walk gets several things, a heartstring book and a collection envelope. There's about 5 pieces of paper that just need to be collated together with a paper clip put on it. But sometimes we'll get calls from a business and they'll say, I need 500 walker packets, you know, and 300 walker packets and 200. It takes a lot of time to put those types of things together.
Sure.
And if we had volunteers that would come in our office and do that, or if they have a volunteer group, we can drop the materials off to them.
Right.
And they can put those together at, you know, their workplace or their house, or, you know, if it's a club and they meet, you know, monthly or sometime at a regular place, we can drop the materials off and go back and pick them up.
Great, fantastic. That's a critical need. And you
is.
sometimes have some needs in your office, obviously, putting
that's
packets
correct.
together,
That's
answering the phones. It gets pretty harried around as we get close to the
That's
last
right.
couple of weeks of the walk.
We invite a couple hundred people to attend these kickoff meetings, and a lot of times people in our area do not RSVP. So just making, you know, 100 or 200 telephone calls, you know, that can be a task within itself. Answering our phone can sometimes, you know, be a task within itself.
Sure.
So there's lots of needs that we have that people can help us with.
Great. If someone's putting together a team and they want to get this going over the next 8 weeks to get ready for October 15th, what are some of the critical information that you need to know about them? You just need their name and number and some of the folks they're planning on having on the team, or what are some things you would need to know about them?
Basically, I just need to know their name and number and how many walkers they plan to have, so that we can give them enough materials to give to their walkers.
Right.
But, you know, that they could have a 5 or 10 minute orientation with us.
Great.
If someone can't attend one of these meetings like I was talking about, it is not necessary.
Good.
All our materials are pretty much self-explanatory. I am available to go out and meet with people, especially groups of people. If there are clubs or groups that may want to get together to form teams, I'm available to do that.
Okay.
So they call us and tell us what their need is. We'll try to accommodate it.
The American Heart Association is working diligently also to use the internet to solicit donations.
Yes.
And of course, within the packet, you've got a lot of information about Conterra and the ways to do that. If someone doesn't have a packet yet, they really want to get a packet from you to begin that, but is there a place they could go online to learn more about ways the internet is being used, even visiting AmericanHeart.org or Heart.org?
They can go to the AmericanHeart.org and then just type in, there's a place for events, and they can type in Myrtle Beach or put in our zip code, and all of our events will come up.
Great.
It'll take them to the Heart Walk website. Just click on that, and even teach them how to, I mean, it's just a step-by-step, easy to use program of how to sign up to be a walker.
Great.
As well as how to create their own web page. That's what you mentioned with Conterra. You can create your own website, your own web page, and if you've got an address book, say, you know, several emails, some people have hundreds and thousands of email addresses. They can send out one blast email, and the letter's already prepared for them that says, you know, something about them just signing up to be a walker and asking them to make a donation. Those people can make just pull their credit card out and make a donation online, and that money rolls up to that walker. So there are walkers who've raised thousands of dollars without even going face-to-face, just sending out emails.
Wow.
So we have not had that happen as much here in Myrtle Beach, but we've had, Charlotte has raised, I think they were over 20,000 already just in online donations.
Tammy, you'll also have some needs still, just a couple of those, but industry leaders. You have the recruitment leaders and the team captains, but oftentimes, and I know recently in the Myrtle Beach Herald we've highlighted Judy Rodman as the government industry leader. In the last couple of weeks, Mayor Marilyn Hatley, one of your co-chairs, and just this past week, Chairman Liz Gillen, Maury County Council, she and Mayor Hatley are co-chairing, and I understand the walk is in honor of Danny Knight and Sheriff Philip Thompson.
That's correct. That's
which
correct.
Is very exciting to have two very important, well-respected men who've also been impacted by heart disease being recognized and honored in this year's 14th Annual Heart Walk.
Right, and we're very fortunate that the Sheriff's Department is really doing a great job getting the police force to raise money, and they're actually having a golf tournament on September 10th at Myrtlewood.
I didn't know that. Great.
Yeah. So that's in honor of Sheriff Thompson, and I think the Solicitor's Office is helping as well. So I expect them to raise a lot of good money with that event.
Absolutely. 843-626-3939 or AmericanHeart.org.
That's correct.
Great places to do research. You've also got two tremendous events coming up, another one in November, mid-November, I think, the 9th through the 13th, at the Lakewood Family Campground.
And, you know, it's just 3 weeks after the Heart Walk, so we don't have time to actually unpack all of our things before we are really crammed with another event. We already have almost 500 riders that have signed up and paid to participate in that event. And we've never had this many folks signed up this early, so we're very excited about that. We know it's going to be a sellout, probably going to be the first year where we actually turn people away. So I would say for any of our listeners who are listening, a lot of our local people, our viewers, a lot of times they wait to sign up the week of. They want to see how the weather's going to be, you know, anybody that's within 2-3 hour radius of us usually does not sign up in advance. And I believe this will be our first year that we have to turn people away.
Wow. We've been so thankful to be able to utilize the Lakewood Family Campground, and even more exciting to use Jack Monroe's name now for the last couple of years, but someone who's been involved for, 25 years?
Right.
Is this the 25th or 26th?
This is the 24th.
24th annual. Of course, next year will be a huge celebration. Year will be huge. And, of course, in mid-February, is it February 25th? The 12th to 13th annual American Heart Ball.
Right, 12th.
12th annual. Forgive me, Tammy. A lot of these numbers are pretty close. You've been putting on some big events right next to each other for year after year after year. And, of course, you've been at the helm now of the the Waccamaw division for, is it 15 years, Tammy?
Just celebrated 16.
Wow, that's incredible. A lot's happened over those 16 years, and just to look over the last 5 years to see the tremendous profit growth year after year after year there within the office, from moves from the Radisson to the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort for the Heart Ball. Year after year, these are getting bigger and bigger.
They are. They are. The Heart Ball is huge. We have people that call on a regular basis now to get their tickets and to become a sponsor. And right now we're not selling individual tickets, only sponsors. We hope to sell out and not have an opportunity to even sell individual tickets. So if there's any viewers that are out there and they're hoping to wait for tickets, if you're associated with a business that would like to become a sponsor, that's a way you can go ahead and guarantee now that you will have a table or at least an opportunity to attend the Heart Ball.
And if you had less than a minute to share with some folks the things they could do over the next 60 days to get ready for this very important Heart Walk at Broadway at the Beach on October 15th, What are the critical things that a viewer needs to be thinking about?
Well, forming a team, especially if you're not with a self-made team, like if you're not an employee, just think about who are some folks that either have been touched by heart disease or a stroke. We also support strokes, and or people that are health conscious, people that always get out and support nonprofit organizations. Usually the same people do all of the nonprofits, as you are well aware of, and just get those people together, rally them together, bring them to a meeting, or just call our office and we'll come out to you and tell you what you need to do to get started.
Okay, great. Tammy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Say hey to Brooke and Ronnie, please.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Tammy Eaves coming up next. Five critical words: know, attend, recruit, motivate, and thank. Know, attend, recruit, motivate, and thank. You got to be thinking that way. You got to write down this simple phone number too: 626-3939. Know about the mission of the American Heart Association. It's critical. It impacts, as Tammy talked about, 40+% of folks are impacted on a regular basis in Horry County. In the PD, it's even higher, and are killed by cardiovascular disease and strokes. Know about that. Make sure and attend meetings. Learn more about the mission. Attend meetings to find out about what this Heart Walk's all about, putting it together, getting ready for October 15th. We're talking about less than 2 months. The time is coming up fast. 626-3939, 626-3939. Recruit volunteers to get out there and walk with you or help put teams together. Be a part of this. It's a critical time, and you've got to motivate them too. And you've got to stay motivated. You don't only think about the little hour or 2 hours or 3 hours out there at Broadway at the beach, but there's a lot that leads up to it. Be involved in that, and then thank them for their involvement. Thank them for working hard to fight heart disease and stroke. Give them a call at 626-3939.